All right, thanks. So we're going to call the meeting to order. The seventh meeting of the Community Preservation Committee for FY25. I'm Tom Monahan. I'm the chair of the Community Preservation Committee, and why don't we just go around and introduce ourselves.
Jenny Russell, vice chair and citizen rep.
Rob Levash, park commissioner. Member.
Pete Jackson, assistant rep and treasurer.
And I'm Wendy Garpo. I'm representative of the Conservation Commission.
And Cheryl, if you can unmute and introduce yourself. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Cheryl Tagayas, representative from the planning board.
Great. And Julia?
Julia Getman, clerk.
Thank you. All right, administrative items, upcoming meetings. So Julia, can you remind us of the upcoming schedule that we set?
24th is the next meeting.
Is that the only one we set in stone?
Sorry?
Is that the only one we set in stone?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to set others. Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, sure.
So the 24th, right? So a Tuesday night?
Yep.
Okay, that's the next one. So we're looking at July.
24th of June.
What's that?
Yeah, yes.
24th of June.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, 2 weeks, basically 2 weeks.
I won't be here, but that's okay.
Okay. All right, we need it. So the week of July 7th, the week of July 14th, those weeks look like vacations. Nobody takes vacations in July.
Tuesday the 15th is good.
It's not good for me.
Wednesday the 9th.
I cannot do Wednesdays in the summer.
Thursday the 17th or Thursday the 10th.
Thursday's bad for a lot of time. Like I know Cheryl probably should.
Right. Planning board. How about the 8th, 22nd? Those are Tuesdays.
What about the 8th?
I can't do it.
8th or the, well, what could you do, Ken?
Yeah, I might be able to do the 22nd. I can't do the 8th.
Is the funding application due the end of August or September?
No, September. September 26th.
We gotta give it some time. So
Yeah,
Right,
that's right.
right.
You gotta move this forward.
So 9, 10, or 11. So Fridays are good.
7th,
Is that Monday?
Yeah.
Monday.
Mondays?
How about the 14th?
Monday.
Monday the 14th?
Those would be both doable for me, 7th and 14th.
I can go 14th. You good for the 14th? No?
I mean, I like Tuesdays better. Why couldn't the 22nd if we waited till then? Do you think it's only
Well, I
gonna
think
be?
we might need two.
You think we might need two?
Do you think so, Pete?
Really? Well, it depends on how many we get.
Yeah,
But
probably. You
But then
probably.
usually, you know, you get the
Cheryl's
presentations,
got
then
it.
we have a meeting. just-
Cheryl, you're on mute, I think.
No, she's muted.
Oh, now you go.
She's unmuted. She unmuted and then muted again.
Oh,
So,
I think we need two presentations, the 24th one plus one more. But then we usually have one meeting that's devoted to deliberation and.
so can we book one on the 22nd? Because that seemed to work for
Yeah.
everybody. And then
Yeah.
the other one would be,
the 14th?
I think we need one before the 22nd.
Yeah, the 14th.
yeah, we can make it work.
All right, July 14th and 22nd. All right,
So June 24th,
yeah,
July 14th, and
Yeah.
July 22nd.
And the
Yeah.
22nd one, I say if needed.
yes.
And as
Probably,
as long as we have a call, I think it'd be okay.
right.
And
Well,
those,
so we can't meet without a forum.
those are all 7 o'clock here.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, for the deliberation meeting, we could do it on Zoom, if that would help. Okay, we can cross that bridge when we come to it, but those are 3 dates that we have.
Yeah.
All right, good. Thank you, everybody. Approval of the minutes from the April 28th meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Seconds, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I think I have to do a roll call.
Yeah, you're right.
Denny,
Aye.
Rob,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes,
All right. Tom, yes. All right. All right, we have some applicants in front of us tonight. I don't know who's been promised first slot here. Okay. Some deference given.
To experience.
Thank you for having me again, once again. Jackie Golden here to talk about the Pepperly Playground project. Apologies, Lisa was not able to attend tonight. But we've heard this 4 times, I think. I'll just give an update of what's happened
Yes.
since, I think, what was it, November maybe or something, and then what's coming. So we're asking specifically for 143 because that's exactly what we need. That is the last step in this process. We have the land paperwork done so that it can be given to the Parks Department to have it be a town operated playground. We have the RFP lined up, working with Nick Milano on that.
To select a contractor. Yeah.
Yes, to select a contractor. We have created a 501c3. We have a GoFundMe. We did receive a construction donation, so we actually did work specifically with Nick Milano on that because there were some restrictions on not being to use it for labor. So we worked having it be the materials. We got just over $63,000 for that. So that is the Bosworth construction.
So that was income.
Will be doing.
Yeah, I do have we highlighted what was in the itemized list for him, so I can follow up with that if you want to see that as well. I didn't submit it in the application.
I'd be interested in that.
Yeah.
He's gonna do for you.
Yeah. So it's mostly like the excavation and putting the gravel, compacting it, putting 2 more inches, like doing the whole preps work for that. And then
So it's not, so just to be clear, it's an in-kind donation valued at 63,000, not a cash donation.
Yeah, we're not like paying him 100 and he's giving,
Right.
or like 63 back, or like only giving him 40 for like the 100 that he's doing. He's doing the 63.
Okay.
Total.
Okay.
Then so that's thus far. We have been trying to get more private funding within the town, without success this past spring, which is a little disappointing. We we're gonna go again in the fall to Copeland. We'll see what happens, but we're looking elsewhere, and that's clearly why I'm here.
So did Copeland give you a reject?
Yeah.
Did they say come back?
Yeah.
Sort of a try again.
Yeah, I mean, we're running into this thing where it's like, I think we're in their eyes too little, maybe, of a donation. I don't know if I
Pass
fully
the
agree
more.
with that.
That's from.
I did, and they said no, and you guys gave us a donation, and then that, so it's just this little game that's going on. We shall see though, but in the meantime, I am presenting to the Chamber of Commerce tomorrow to hopefully see where that takes me. We are applying, this is kind of just gravy on top, but we are applying for a tree donation. I'm just waiting for the estimate come back from Thomas Nursery to finally submit that application. We do have a application for funding into Fidelity. I have tried to reach out to the Susie Foundation to see for some advice on that avenue as well. So we are pushing more on getting neighborhood neighbors helping us find like door knocking and flyers. It's obviously not gonna pull in the 143 we need to start a shovel to the ground. So, we are also, in speaking with Milano, figuring out if this has to be fully funded before we start. We're looking at saying, like, we don't want to lose momentum, obviously, with the construction donation. We don't want another COVID to happen, we don't want, to come in, and now our play equipment is more expensive. So we were seeing if we could do everything to get the land prepped, and then maybe just adding, a disc swing at the end that's needed to, but I don't think we're there yet. I think it has to be fully funded, so we're really just pushing to get that last chunk in our hands to make this trip.
Do you have an updated estimate? Sorry, I didn't look through your applications. Did Bill do your? I know that's your budget or whatever, but do you actually have a more detailed breakdown of the work? Or
More than
that?
yes.
Did you
Did
say,
you submit it with your application?
did you say that an escalation in the play equipment is already built into this?
Yeah, so we have a contingency, it's itemized as construction for $26,000.
And that would cover any escalation in the play equipment? right?
Yeah,
Cause that stuff's going up really fast.
we're getting a refresh on the equipment. We actually just reached out today to our Childscapes contact to actually also see if we can bring that cost down a little bit to help this gap.
Yeah.
We won't know that officially, but yeah, no, it also too, because it's probably stable.
Jackie, it seemed like the last time you came here, you indicated that you were gonna be able to break ground before getting fully funded. So is that new information for you?
Yeah.
Is that from Nick?
He said you couldn't.
It was suggested we should because, so we don't have to go to RFP for the equipment that can be purchased directly. It's for the other work that has to go with that. Because if we don't have it fully funded, asking somebody to, I think we won't get a good, enthusiasm from, or lack of a better term, we're not gonna get people's attention to submit the RFP, saying oh, we don't even know what we're doing. We don't even have this fully funded, this, I think to them, it's a waste of their time.
I think what's difficult is if you go out to an RFP, like a typical, if you were to do all the bid documents for it and have them done, I don't think Bill has that done yet. So we don't even know, it's a theoretical budget that you're putting out there.
Yeah.
This is where it is. So you put out a competitive RFP for a
Right.
public bid process, you could get back a few bids, which will help. It will also help this committee decide $143,000 on
Right.
top of everything else is a lot of money.
So that's what we were going back and forth on. I mean, he said, fine, I'm going to give you the RFP with it saying that it's fully funded and.
I would talk with Nick about it because it's a lot of it is funded and many projects go out to bid and. Figure out how much is left to close your plan.
Well, we even saw it with the rubber flooring. When we had to catch up with the Childscapes person, said, oh, actually, the number came in less than. What? Okay, we'll take it. So, because it was an estimate and then he got more from pricing. So I'm with you on that, and that's why we pushed. So he did finally give us our yesterday, but it does say, and he said, fine. But I'm stating in it that the project's not fully funded.
But the bigger issue.
And the timeline's omitted.
Your timeline would be extended like a year.
A year.
Because it'll be July until you would ever get this. money.
Get this one.
Yeah.
I wonder whether town would allow it to go
I don't think they would.
Well, no. So hypothetically, if we made a recommendation. That still wasn't confirmed by town meeting, but that would be a good sign,
Oh, right,
right?
to go out to RFP.
Yeah, I mean, because there's right, if we make a recommendation in December. It's still 5 months before town meeting.
Well, we're doing it right now.
Gets it.
We're doing it right now for the townwide master plan. We don't
Okay.
have the money, but we went out to RFP. We have interviews tomorrow with consultants. So there's precedent for that.
Right.
But it's probably, we waited until town meeting that said,
But that was
yeah,
after town meeting.
it was after town meeting.
Yeah.
So that's when you would probably have
Yeah, the
to.
window between May and July is an easy one, because there's nothing that can stop you at that point.
Yeah.
The weirdness is, it's,
A year.
you know,
It's a long time.
we've had 3 years of recommendations, town meeting has never denied a recommendation, but that's only 3 years. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
conceivable they could vote no on something. Or they would have to vote no on everything, but it's,
Yeah,
you know, it's highly unlikely politically, but I'm not sure.
anything can happen.
The legality of it and just,
Okay.
yeah, the optics of that even,
Yeah.
so.
So we're
And-
looking forward to seeing your shovels in the ground. That's what I
Yeah,
can say.
yeah, I think, yeah,
I'm ready to dig a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I
I
think,
know that won't be well.
I think if that's your schedule, though, it would also be helpful. Whatever you can do to help minimize that cost would be helpful. If you can raise some of that money privately,
Oh,
it would be
100%.
helpful. Because a big chunk of this is all coming from the CPC.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that would be welcome from the board.
So
If
keep
we
working.
could get some of it, you got till.
Keep
whatever it
working.
is. Keep
You got a
working,
year.
yeah, yeah, hopefully
That's
it
great.
would cough up some.
I mean, you have a lot of supporters in town.
Yeah.
We would hope that some of those supporters also put in money.
Yeah.
Including us, but
Yeah.
we're, we're,
Yes.
yeah, we're trying to stretch, as you know, $1 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but it's obviously with the 3 buckets and given the need in town for a variety of deserving projects, we're trying to make it stretch too. So,
100%, yeah. And we appreciate everything as far as it's been. So far, so good. So just following up, itemized list, more itemized than for the budget. Do you want it, also to, well, we already have what's, the funding thus far.
Right.
So I think that's fine. And then,
I was just wondering what.
Bosworth.
Bosworth is gonna do for you.
Yeah.
and that can come in the full application rounds. What you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to do
Yeah,
that.
no,
Just
Got it,
by
yeah.
September 26th, and obviously, hopefully, you'll have some good fundraising news in between now and then, so you could update us on that.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I have
Yeah,
a question.
Wendy.
Jackie, I'm speaking, on behalf of the Conservation Commission now. I heard you say that you were in the process of application for tree funding.
Yes.
Is that to the Conservation Commission?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
think you directed Bill and I into the right spot.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
there is an application for applying for tree funding on the Conservation
Oh.
Commission's website. So I
Yes,
believe I sent you guys the link,
yes, and so it says like, what's the maintenance schedule and all that?
right?
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm just talked to the nursery and they're just giving me back the quote on the tree cost. I think that's the last piece and then I have to submit it.
Great,
Awesome,
great.
thank you.
Just rough estimate, any idea like what sort of frame we're looking at financially?
I have no idea. It's 19 trees, 11 down. Down. I don't know, it's like totally out of my wheelhouse. Then I think there's like 3 red maples and then one other one, birch. So I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, typically trees are, the rule of thumb that we use is about $500 for a 2-inch two and a half inch caliper tree.
Okay.
So the diameter at breast height is
Got
the
it.
term.
Got it.
So I'm guessing is probably gonna be around $10,000 what
Okay.
we're looking at.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah, great.
So, I would suggest that you ask for what you need and
Yes.
then, we will review the application in our monthly meeting and hopefully agree to fund as much as we can.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Just, one question. You said that, Nick indicated that the land is cleared for you and the park department's gonna manage. So it'll be conservation land that the park department is gonna manage and
Right.
maintain the playground.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
in contact with, is it T? I'm forgetting the name, of the woman who's been working on paperwork for everything. Yeah,
Very good.
The last thing I'll say is at our last Parks Commissioners meeting, we had one person in the audience who asked about your project, who's a neighbor. So whatever public outreach you can do, I would advise on that because they weren't particularly fond of your project. But I would make public outreach too important and include some stakeholders because they just showed up and they're like, this is the first time I've heard of this.
got it.
So-
Okay.
And I was surprised that someone would be against the playground. That would be in our neighborhood, but you'd be surprised. They had many questions regarding
Hoodlums.
parking
Ne'er
and
do
whatever else. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Particularly the timing and everything, because it's going on so long, so they might think like, oh, is this really gonna happen? Is this real?
They were more concerned with like parking and such at the playground.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Jackie, thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Thanks, Jackie.
Appreciate it. And thank you for your work on this
Yeah,
project.
thank you.
All right, Leslie and team, welcome. Bring up some chairs.
Leslie McCarthy, technically ex-PTO president as of last night. I turned the reins over to,
Co-presidents?
co-presidents, yeah.
Oh, good.
Haley Byron, one co-president of the Tucker PTO, and Marika Golden Silva. So we are here, thank you for considering, the eligibility application for the Tucker Playground renovation. We submitted the application. I'm sure you want us to go through everything, but, ever since I have a fourth grader and a first grader, and so ever since I joined Tucker, there's been talk of how we can really revitalize the Tucker playground space for our students, but also for the community. Because hopefully Beverly Park will be breaking ground, but there really isn't a lot of community space on the west side of town. And so we really kind of thought the last couple of years of what we can do. And then realizing that CPC would possibly help us fund this project. We convened a committee working with the Tucker administration, the superintendents. All of them have been impressed with them, all three of them, in the past couple of months to form a committee with parents. Bill Madden was brought to our attention, and he very graciously worked with us in a pro bono capacity to help us on the early planning stages of the process. We did some fundraising with the Tucker community in the last month, and we are prepared. We actually did retain a site survey to do a site and ground survey of the Tucker playground, kind of in that gap window between students being gone and the Tucker camp starting just in a couple weeks. And so we're working on going out to request RFPs for design work over the summer. And we put forth an eligibility application to fund some of the ground surface, play structure, new play structure, and removal of the existing play structure. We think it'll be very much a phased project. Because we're so landlocked compared to some of the other schools around town, we really want to be creative with our space and use our footprint to the best of our ability. And so that will require really kind of taking everything apart and figuring out the, multi-use field might go here, the play structure might go here, removing the wood chips. Currently, right now, it's just asphalt and wood chips, so there's no really safe surface for the kids to play on. It's not ADA accessible. Our kids, I get a call from the nurse almost every other day in terms of playing soccer on the asphalt and with the curbs. And so it really is much needed. And we actually, parents have been supporting this project for years pre-COVID. Parents put together, did some fundraising, And so there's actually funds dedicated to the playground that we'll be using from kind of previous Tucker parents. And then we just raised $11,000 just the past month to put forward the site survey, and are also looking to other grants within the state and private foundations to fund this.
When you're defining, you talk about the playground and you're not just the play equipment.
Yes.
Yes, are you basically looking at all of the grounds other than maybe the front of the school, or is it everything?
Yes, all of the grounds. We have some wonderful teachers and parents that have really worked on revitalizing the side garden, which is not actually accessible to the students for recess. But the Tucker Garden Club utilizes that space. The preschool classes have their playground out there. And the PTO in recent years have purchased tables with actually the help of the Milton Garden Club, which is a little bit of outdoor classroom. So so that's already sort of, there's some work to be done there, but we feel like that would probably be phase 3 in terms of better utilizing that space. Kind of the main phase that we're looking at in the next year or two will be the back playground, where it's the asphalt soccer pitch. We did install, with the help of community schools, a basketball hoop a few years ago, and that really brought a lot more community members into the playground on the weekend. We all live within the neighborhood, and it's great to see people playing there on the weekends and after school. So that would be the kind of the back play part would be what we would look at to revitalize the space, so it can be more of a community-centered space.
Okay, so tearing up asphalt and putting something else down.
Yeah.
So what's the thought on the something else for the soccer pitch?
So we've looked at different types of ground surface for the rubber cement. We've also looked at different types of turf options too. We understand that the CPC will not fund turf, but we are prepared cannot fund turf. So we're prepared to kind of do our own fundraising to utilize that, recognizing that in a perfect world, we would all love a grass field, but that can be maintained by the custodians and the staff. So just really looking at the safest thing for our kids to plan, that would be durable for them to plan the weekends. After school, during the school year, we also have the Tucker Camp for the first time this year. So this really is a year-round space that's used by the community.
Who funded the Cunningham turf in the back? Bill worked on that too, but do you know where the funds came?
I think it was, I'm not positive if Copeland Foundation helped a little bit with that. I think they might have, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
And I do know that the Cunningham and Hollyhock PTO put forth a fairly large chunk as well as some kind of family business donations for that.
So excuse me, because I didn't do my homework. I didn't read through any of these eligibility applications. I know of your project, obviously. But are you looking for funding to do the planning this round, and then you're going to be looking to do the project, or what?
Yeah, well, our plan is now is we were looking for construction funding, and we were going to try to self-fund the planning, because we're trying to keep this project on a relatively tight timeline, given how serious parents are taking this and kind of how urgent the need is to replace the play structure. So what we were intending to do, we're going out to bid for a design company. We have one quote in already. So based on that number, we are starting a fundraising appeal this summer to the Tucker community to raise money for the designs, just so we can move right to construction funding to keep us on a timeline that potentially is breaking ground on at least a phase next summer and finishing up in the 2027 school year. That was kind of the only way we saw to stay on that timeline. But part of the reason that we really welcome this conversation tonight is we're wondering, we don't anticipate being able to, we may be able to, fund those design plans prior to the September deadline. However, we don't think that work would be completed. So we're concerned about, how viable our application might be if that work is ongoing while we're applying for construction funding, knowing that that was kind of our process.
What was the estimate you got?
60,000.
60.
For what design?
Yeah.
You could beat Bill up a little bit.
It was 50 to 60, but I'm going with the high end, just kind of be realistic, and that's the number we're putting out to our community.
That's a bit high.
And you think that's
You think
realistic
so?
to raise from your community?
Well, you know, Tucker is a very special community, but we don't always have the same access that other schools might. We were able to raise the 11,000, but that wasn't easy. So we have to get creative this summer. We're forming a subcommittee from the playground committee in order to come up with some maybe interesting fundraising ideas. We have some existing funds, but we're not totally comfortable spending all of that down without more community engagement. That's not to say we won't, but it's to say we're starting those conversations with our parents. So I think it's a realistic goal for us if we're given, you know, into the school year to raise that money. I think we can absolutely do it. I don't think we could do it and have the plans done by September. I think we'll need to use the first half of the school year, with the second half of the school year dedicated to completing that work, from the first.
So I guess you realize, so Pepperly Playground's been 4 years now that we've tried to fund them. And the cost of that project is up, now it ballooned up to like 650 or something. And I wouldn't doubt if this project's up there.
We think we're projected at
Or
500.
560.
Yeah.
Right.
To 600, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I'm
the
guessing
budget-
that's it.
The budget they've asked for is presented is 569, asking for 200, so.
Pepperly,
So-
it's a little more complicated too with permitting.
With permitting. and all
Yeah.
that stuff too. But to answer your question on getting this done in a year, it's gonna be tight because you gotta do the design time. And then put it out to, just like, you're gonna have to do the same thing that Pepperly Park does with like public RFP and all that, and that takes a couple months. So to get a shovel in the ground, I think is ambitious by July. That's my own feeling. Could it be done? Probably, but you're all set square one, right? So, and then going back to the design fee, like 60,000, that's probably all in though, right? That's all in to do all the.
Well, does that
construction.
include permitting?
Yeah.
Curious.
There's no permitting there.
Do we
There's
think-
no wetland.
There's no wetland, right?
Right, so there's really not permitting required. So your design fee will be design the whole Tucker grounds. And then you will be carving out the field area as a phase one. So that's what you're working on, is trying to fund, you know, the first phase of that, but your design fee is for the entirety of the ground.
Right, so the design fee would cover kind of a 2-year project, but we'd only be asking for funds for the first year. And all this also has to do, you know, we've been in touch with Tom McCarthy, who's head of town facilities, when we met with the superintendent to just make sure we had a follow-up conversation, or email correspondence with Superintendent John Phelan, who's only been here 10 days now.
I'm almost wondering if you could work with Bill and say, hey, can you give me a master plan? So that he could give you a phasing plan that says, these are I'm sure your project, maybe it can happen over 3 phases. And do the early conceptual work and get that fee down so that you can do that, ask them to pare that down. And then you can always do that later. You're asking for like an all-in kind of fee, right? To do all construction. So maybe you can.
Not necessarily, we don't, we again, without kind of getting the design plans, our fee estimated the removal of the ground, of the existing playground structure, removal of the ground chips, and then kind of resurfacing of the ground. And then we were looking for other private grants and other grants to help fund the other $400,000 that we anticipated. So it is kind of that first, we can't really do anything until we get everything out of there. So that's sort of what we're asking for in this first phase, at least what we think before kind of really getting.
So do you think you can fund the design? You're not asking for the design stuff.
No, because I think I mean, to be frank, if we wait a whole other year to fund the design, we're a year behind. So we really, I mean, we would love your funds, but we're gonna get the design work going before next summer, before summer 2026, because we just can't wait.
You need to do it no matter what.
Yeah, we're gonna, and there's a tremendous amount of grants out there that we've looked at, that were helpful. I mean, and I think one thing that there's a lot of support from the Tucker community. We just had the Tucker mural installation, which is kind of our really initial phase of revitalizing the playground. Rick was instrumental in bringing that forward, but NEPA NEFA awarded a $27,000 grant to us to make that possible, and there'll be community conversations. And so this really is a source of pride for not just the Tucker community, but and the Tucker students and the Tucker family, but the entire West Side community of Milton. So we really feel like we want to keep this momentum going.
So the 11,000 that you raised, will that go towards the design, or are you going out to that?
To the design.
To the design.
And to the site survey that's happening in the week between the school and the camp starting.
We've already retained Morris Engineering and paid them the retainer, and they're gonna come in a couple of weeks to start the site survey.
So this money's really for that first phase, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever that first construction groundbreaking phase would be.
And if we were awarded it, does it have to be spent within a year? Is there time?
It's whatever the grant agreement is, 3 years.
But if it's underway, we want to say.
Because that is the other piece that we're constrained by the school schedule, and we want to make sure that we do the work in the best manner, so we're not disrupting the students in the city, and also the summer. And in the summer, it's also
the nice part about CPC money is July 1st is when it's available, which is actually the perfect time of year for you to start construction. And you can, similarly to these other projects, you can line it up and do the all RFP. Then once your funds you have a contractor like award it, basically, then you can break ground on July 1st. But there is a good amount of funding to get all locked in.
Yeah, that was our biggest.
Yeah, the other beauty of CPA money is just it can be very flexible, and that's why we work with projects and give them generally a 3-year. There is even no hard and fast, and then if you're making progress, we're gonna probably continue to allow an extension of money. We want to see the money used. Obviously, we don't want to be taking it back, so we'll work with every project applicant and make sure our rules don't unfairly restrict the progress you're making.
I do like the idea of phasing it though, because with Pepperly Park, it's been 4 years and we keep giving a little bit, but the money just is kind of earmarked there. And that's why I thought there was going to be a shovel on the ground this fall. I was trying to help them out, and I was hoping to raise private money for it. And I was like, you better put in for more CPC money, because I just didn't see the project going anywhere. So it's tough. So I think it's better to break it off in chunks, because as we know, it's $1 million and there's so many applicants. So
we recognize, Bill gave us his proposal, and in some ways we have the money, we have the reserves, we could go ahead and do it, but we feel like we owe the Tucker community to go out and get other competing bids to understand what we're really doing. So we want to make sure we're not rushing the project too much, that we're doing our due diligence and being good stewards of the money that families have given to us. Right.
We also don't feel comfortable spending money without knowing we have
the
grant
right.
money in, so.
well,
we could fund the design right now.
well, to Pete's, I know Bill, he's a good guy, but to the same point, if I had a client in an organization, I would say go out and get 3 bids.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We're talking with tomorrow on Friday.
So the one thing I would say, obviously 200 is a big number compared to the 1 million we have. That's 20% of one project. We have 14 applicants. Obviously, some are small, some are large, and that. So, as you think about the final application, think about, if you got partial funding of that, what could you do with that, and how much you could do with that, and I that's a vague thing, because I'm not gonna speak for the committee, but I think we generally, in the last couple of years, have gotten into practice of saying to all applicants, when it's possible, sharpen your pencils, think creatively about what you could do if we don't fully fund it. Again, and we'll have this conversation again in September, and maybe be in a better position after having heard from all the applicants, but just,
and as you
probably not telling you anything you don't know, but that's probably.
And as you go out and get grants, it's nice to say, okay, we have some matching funds here. It's like to see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And even if you don't get the awards, it's very helpful to all funders, not just us, to know oh, hey, you're applying for this grant and you're waiting to hear. And that's very helpful to strengthen your application. Speaking of which, I know that space is really tight over there, but might there be space for trees in your plan?
Right through that turf.
That's phase three, so that would be like if we break ground, kind of trying to get the kids. And the safe surface is summer 2026, number one, and then summer 27 is really looking at how we can outdoor classroom, you know, really, we have some wonderful teachers that conservation and kind of environmental justice is really core to what they teach and core to what I think Tucker is about. We want to make sure that is factored into our outdoor space, so we would love right on Oak Street, we would love to bring an oak in, so yeah.
I don't know if you heard, when we were speaking with the Pebbley Park folks that there is an application process on the Town Conservation Commission website. It's a very simple application. Just fill it out, let us know, let the Conservation Commission know what your need is, and hopefully we'll be able to help you out with that.
Even though that's on school department land, you can still do that.
Yes, public land, yes, exactly.
That's great.
Mhm.
So the only other context I would add to Tom's grants is that the request that we have gotten is over $2 million. So you get a sort of sense of,
Okay.
you know, it's not
Yeah.
14
Yeah.
proposals each asking, you know, for 10,000, but it's like, it's all over the map, but the total. So we're gonna have to cut basically by half
Okay.
somehow.
Okay.
Now, some may drop out between now and applying for a full proposal. I mean, some may combine with others, who knows, you know, there might be other things that happen that will reduce the total overall, but for now, it's big.
That's helpful.
Although last year was like 4 million or something.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
hey,
no, yeah, but
Anyway,
we have our work cut off.
we still have our work
Each year,
cut out
each year.
every year.
It's such a burden to give away money, you know.
Yeah.
For your funding proposal, hopefully, by the time you get to that, you'll have kind of specific, you know, if it is the multi-purpose field, you know, identify, your master plan does everything around the site, but the money we're looking for now is to concentrate on that project, and that'll help us.
Yeah, so when you're going out and meeting with your designer. If you could have them focus on that, I know it's like a master plan, you wanna make sure everything's there, but it would be really helpful too, when you're going out for this, is to get them to have an independent cost estimator, and it helps us. To say, okay, here, this is actually what this is, it's not just like thrown out in the air, like here's a $200,000 project.
Yeah.
But like to actually, either you actually have them do it, or you have a manufacturer, whatever. You know, a contractor who would do the field, whatever,
Yeah.
get hard numbers back to
Yeah.
get to know what it is.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you doing this.
Thank you for your work on this.
The last school, and these, the work.
Yes, no, that's the one.
You said?
Yes.
The Parks and Recs can apply for.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, I was actually there.
Members, I'd love to talk to you.
Okay. Take it on grants.
Yeah.
For this, yeah.
But you're staying on this project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. That was part of the deal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rita,
Yeah, and I was iffy, I think, on whether I was gonna be here or not.
well, you're here,
Yeah.
and we have time, and
Perfect, I won't be here.
great to see you.
Thank you. So I'm Maria Manning from it, and I put in an application for, a piece of land on, it's on the, MRE, it's owned by MRE. It's on the Winter Valley property. Originally, Winter Valley was part of the Whitney estate, so when you go up Highland Street, it went from Highland Street over to where Winter Valley is now, and then up as far as where the house was, it was the caretaker's house, it's sort of perpendicular to Highland Street.
So the house is in disrepair now, or?
No,
Okay, it's still,
actually a
okay,
rental.
all right.
So anyway, this piece of land that's behind the community building in Winter Valley, it was set aside when the town purchased. So the town purchased the land for Winter Valley, and then the MRE took bought it from the town. And that piece of land, which is about an acre, was set aside in perpetuity because it was felt that that was part of the original homestead design. And 100 years later, 104 years later, it's overgrown with invasives. And I'm just looking to get the original plan and see what needs to be done in order to restore it. Winter Valley uses just a little bit of, say, homestead design, it's on homestead design property, but it's, there's not much of a focus on it. And it's kind of too bad. I don't want to see it kind of lost.
Yeah, so this would be for a plan or a study?
Yeah, just to make, sort of to get the original plan
Yeah.
and make an assessment about what needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's overloaded with invasives and the trees are 100 years old. So, some of them would obviously have to be replaced.
So who would actually be paid to do this?
I don't have anybody right now. I mean, I would have to hire somebody.
Uh-huh.
But you would be having somebody doing a
Some
landscape restoration
A
plan
plan for it, right?
based on historic design.
Right.
So I think this should be under the historic category rather than, it's not recreation.
No, she applied under both,
Yeah,
under open space and.
It can't be open space, so it'd be historic preservation, because the comment was made that we didn't have any applications for historic preservation. I figured that's what's going on here, so that's great.
And the Forbes came in.
In the 2000, now this is gonna seem strange, given what I just said, but is that enough?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I
Is
don't
that
think
just,
so.
did you just conjure that up or?
Again.
I like it. I like your pay scale or whatever.
Yeah.
I know.
I think it'll be more, I don't know, what would it be?
If it's just to, go with, you can either get the plan from the Library of Congress, or you can get it
It's
from
over,
Fairstead.
over Fairstead.
If they've got it at Fairstead, you
They-
can get a copy of that, and so it'd just be somebody to look at that plan, look at the site, see, what of that exists and
You're hired.
things like that.
He's retired.
Well, I'm just saying, it's not a big thing, it's probably, $5,000 or $6,000, I don't think it's two,
Okay.
but I think, it's $5,000 or $6,000, and we're gonna get a historic landscape architect to look at the plan and look at the site, come up with something.
That's probably something that can happen between now and September 26th is getting a better sense
Yeah.
from,
Okay.
from somebody in that business that could give you, cause you can change the
Sure, okay.
number up or down. We'd like it to change downwards, but in this case, it might have to go up.
Yeah.
But it's still a modest
You to find
cost.
somebody to
Thank
do
you.
this work.
Thank you.
And is MRE, is that is it actually incorporated?
I will likely.
It is, okay,
Is there who we funded for the affordable housing at Winter Valley?
thank you.
That's who owns the property.
Yeah, in the
Oh, I see.
36 unit expansion.
Okay,
Where is this? Where is it?
Winter Valley?
Yeah, no, I know where Winter Valley is, but so this
One
land
acre.
is by the 36.
I don't know where this land
Yeah,
is.
it's behind the community.
It's right behind the community. If you go up the driveway, the community building, which is where the offices are, is on the left. It's this kind of the second building on the left. This is about an acre just beyond that.
So it's accessible for,
It is, and
not today, it's not, but.
well, it's accessible to just drive by it.
Yeah.
That's.
There
I
was
wonder-
a semblance of something that used to be there, at least when I was on site a couple of years ago, and I remember being very pleasantly surprised that you could see where there was like some stone walls and some remnants of.
Well, there's a pond,
It's
and
beautiful,
yes,
It could be beautiful again.
yes, for
What-
sure.
Maria, what's your vision for this? Sort of, what would you like to see?
nothing, just to restore it.
To restore.
Restore it and to just so it just doesn't go to kind of woods.
Right.
And fill in with Norway maples or something like that.
Would it be accessible in terms of walking around it?
Yes, and that was one of the executive director was kind of concerned about. Work coming in, and but the residents walk the property.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that would be a nice resource for the
Yeah.
residents to
And,
take.
and there's a little area it used to be where the pool was, just beyond the building, and they have the residents have gardens in there, like raised gardens. and
Community
stuff.
I'm just curious, I would love to go see it.
It looks like a woods right now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just filled in with.
So it's considered private property now, I guess, right?
Can I ask you
If
a
that's
question?
right, you know.
There's a new memory care center going on right behind there. Would
Right.
that be affected by
No, I mean, they have their own entrance off of Highland Street and built our new building 6. Will be behind building 5. And then the memory care is beyond that.
Mhm.
And then, as I said, all their entrance is off of Highland Street.
So the plans for building 6 don't impact this 1 acre that
No.
you're speaking of?
No, not the.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
This is
thank you very much.
exciting.
For being so accommodating.
I always, one of the things about this committee is I learn about new. parts
Yeah,
of
it's
the
cool.
land that we never previously known, you know, the Neponset estuary that Arthur Doyle took us out to last year.
Yeah, yeah.
This project, the gardens off of Governor, Fletcher Steel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm learning so much about the town I've lived in for 30 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
This was a little write-up that was, I only have that one copy, but it was a write-up that somebody did about Winter Valley. Just,
Will you scan that and send it to us?
Yeah,
just how the Whitneys developed it and. Well,
It's great.
awesome.
Marita, I'm wondering if the Milton Garden Club might be able to help you with this research that you have in
That's a
mind.
good idea.
Yeah. They may even have some information in their
in
own.
Georgia, they may have some.
I was gonna say, Georgia's your gal. Yeah.
I know she has some plans and things,
And once she starts something.
yeah.
Just it.
Yeah, yeah. Let this be in her
But
mind.
she,
She'll love it.
she's in the Whitney house,
Yes.
so,
And she was actually saying recently that she has some history about her house
Mhm.
and the surrounding property. That I don't know if that's information that's available elsewhere, but certainly she'd be able to point you in the right direction.
okay.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so, what's the pleasure of the committee? Should we just go through the 14 applicants quickly and just, if there's any concerns about eligibility?
Sure.
Is that?
Yeah,
Is that,
sure.
That sounds like fun.
All right, we have so going sequentially here on the spreadsheet that Julia put together for us, Affordable Housing Trust, through the Kramers, $350,000 request, that's obviously eligible.
Well, did you want to discuss things or?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
They're eligible or not. Last time we had in affordable housing, the Winter Valley,
Yes,
we suggested that they go through the trust.
yes.
Because they've got the expertise to negotiate and things like that, and the Tamposi one,
Exactly.
it just so, it's gonna increase in, affordable housing, but we don't know whether he's gonna provide more units. He said something about providing a greater level of support, but we're not in a position to help negotiate that, and I think the Affordable Housing Trust might be. So I don't know if it makes sense
Yeah, that's a good
to
question.
give this, give whatever we decided, give it to the Affordable Housing Trust and ask them to work with them on.
Which is what we've done.
I agree. I mean, we established that precedent with Winter Valley. I think that is,
I would agree.
I personally think that's a good precedent.
Sure.
Yeah, so
She's got a hand up, it's probably been up for half an hour.
Hey, Tom.
Cheryl knows how to,
Yeah.
make herself heard. So Cheryl, go ahead.
On the Tamposi application, I will recuse myself. I live near 648, 652 Canton Ave. So if you don't mind holding that one till discussion until later, when I can leave the meeting, if that would be okay.
We'll move on.
We can do that.
We'll move
We can do that.
on.
All right, so one of the things that, though, I just wanted to, before we get to, and we'll defer the Tamposi one to later, but the only thing I was trying to say earlier is the Affordable Housing Trust application is eligible, obviously, because we funded them
Yeah.
three years in a row. That's all. I was just trying to check that off.
Yeah, right.
Which is,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
They're both
non-controversial.
eligible.
They're both eligible, but I think it makes.
Okay, we'll come back to the Tamposi one. So number 3 is probably the most interesting discussion we have. I think the Forbes House
Mhm.
restoration, porch restoration. we funded the 4 houses in the past. This is clearly a late application. I think that, to me, that's the only difficult part of this. It seems like a worthy project. We did, as many of you remember, a couple of years ago, allowed a late application from Peverly Park. There was some confusion about emails and, there was enough confusion that I think, at least for me as one member, I was convinced that we should allow that because it felt like there was some legitimate technology issues. This one, it doesn't seem like that was an issue. It was just like, so.
Was there any communication at all prior to?
I worked there
Yeah.
on Saturday,
Yes.
and I told Heidi that the applications were due, and I'm like, put it in, maybe they can slip it in, so it's nothing on their end that, that they're if, like, I encouraged them to do this the last minute, so nothing on their end that was.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but it is on their end in that they didn't meet the deadline. You encourage them to maybe file a late application, but it's.
By one day, like it was maybe a day or two late.
As somebody who writes grants in a professional capacity, it's if you're late, you wait until the next cycle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I would discourage our committee from bending that rule.
Yeah.
Because if we do it for one, then
You create
we
the
have to do
slippery
it for
slope.
everybody.
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
I mean, this
Yeah.
is what happens. I mean, we have the same thing. And if we're not in, we're a minute or 2 minutes late, we're out. And unfortunately, I think it's just a slippery slope that you create by letting applicants in that are beyond the deadline. That's
Right.
my feeling,
And it's nothing personal against the organization or against the director. I think we all here are very supportive of the Forbes House. But I think it would be a mistake to make exceptions that we're not willing to do for everyone in the community.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been a grant writer for most of my career and literally a minute late is.
You wait till next year.
The door is shut.
Yeah.
You've been a funder.
Yeah.
So should we take a vote on this? Do other folks want to weigh in? But I would be inclined to agree with Monday and that we should not accept this as a eligible application. But
Can we make a motion to?
There's no other historic preservation applications there.
well,
There
is
one
2 days late.
Well, was based on my emails, it was 10 days late. So the deadline was May 30th. The email from you is June 10th, saying that we got it. But I think what you're hearing, Julia, is even if it was one day late, it was late, and we can't. What if somebody approaches us tomorrow? It's a public meeting. If somebody approaches tomorrow and say, "Well,
Hey, we want to slip in an
I want to
application.
say it just is. I know it's drawing line, but I think it's an important line to draw. The other one was, I think, a different case where there was a legitimate miscommunication, and this is just a late application. So I don't think we can go there personally. So yeah, Rob, if you want to make a motion.
Make a motion to what, just
To
disqualify the
Yeah.
Forbes house porch restoration for this funding cycle
Yes,
is the motion.
so that's a motion, a second. Second, any further discussion? Wendy?
I just would like to express how regretful I am
Yeah,
to have to
yeah.
vote this, and
It's hard.
I think I'm speaking on behalf of all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's not an easy decision. I just think for the health of this committee,
Yeah,
Exactly.
thinking about future committee representing, setting that precedent is just, not, I think not something we should do.
how does it affect the requirement of 100% for this category?
So it doesn't really, because we can set aside, what our requirement is to set aside 10%. We don't have to actually have funding. We don't have to award funding of 10% to each year. If we don't have applicants in a certain category, we have to set aside that money. So we have reserves for next year.
So we have to put 100,000.
Yes, so, yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. Okay.
Gotta describe it.
Yeah,
So there's lots of towns that don't get applicants in each category every year. So certainly some of the smaller towns definitely do not. So yeah, that's where they reserve and build up sometimes strategically build up a reserve that they.
I guess you're like, that's good information though, for like, we're just basically putting $100,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is a really hard decision.
yeah.
For me, I mean. Yeah, I mean, I still agree with the decision, I believe, because it's a slippery slope to take, but it's not like.
It doesn't
You know,
help us reduce.
It doesn't help us like
No,
make our decision easier. We still have to, to your point, we have to
Absolutely.
set that 10% aside.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it is, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a real
Take a
bummer.
roll.
Yeah, since Cheryl's on the phone,
Yeah.
so we have a motion, a second, any further discussion? Let's go, roll call vote, Jenny,
I vote in favor of the motion.
yes, so yes.
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes,
Tom, yes, so we will communicate with Forbes, I'll reach out to them, by phone and just communicate and just have a conversation expressing our deep regret to be having to do this, but, yeah, so. Okay, all right, continuing on Andrews Park Reno, an application from Kevin Chrism, Parks Department, any comments, on this?
Just it's eligible.
It's eligible, but I thought the purpose of the master plan was to kind of identify and identify priorities. And, you know, that hasn't been done yet, so. You know, do we wait to see where this rises in the priority when that is done?
But what I will say.
Parks representative
Yeah.
here?
So what I will say, and I have that comment probably for a lot of these projects, but it's also a year away. We're gonna start July 1st. We were interviewing
Right.
candidates tomorrow
Right.
to lock in a consultant. And that should happen and be finished within 9 months, I would hope. That's the hope. Be done within 9 months to a year, and this funding would happen in July. So during that time, potentially,
But
we could
don't
figure
know-
out where it would be.
We don't, yeah, we figure out, we don't know if park will rise to the level of being a priority.
Right, yeah,
You know, so.
right. I think it's
That
eligible.
was the,
Yeah,
it's definitely eligible.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely,
Right about that,
So-
I just think that the idea of the master plan was to.
Yeah.
Look comprehensively, and based on a comprehensive look, establish some priorities, and I think. Maybe
Yeah.
tech should, you know, wait for that for the most part.
What's the timeline on the master plan? I mean, no, you're gonna get started right away, July 1st.
July 1st. So I said, it could be anywhere between 9 months to a
9
year.
months.
It's gonna take time to, and a lot of stakeholders and everything else.
So it'll be the first of the year at best,
Yeah,
yeah, at best, so that, you know, that gets you in line for.
I don't think it's gonna be done by,
Yeah,
it won't be.
but that'll give you an opportunity then
Yeah.
to get projects in.
But, you know, I will say that I think we should listen, and let applicants speak for their projects,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, well, this
it's
is just
work.
the
It's
eligibility
work,
phase,
yeah.
we're not passing judgment on whether we would fund it, it's just.
Right.
Yep,
Inviting to full application, okay, the bicycle wayfaring signage.
The only question I had on this, and I couldn't quite, it sort of sounded like it was in Milton, but then it was like, is this gonna be in Milton, or does it matter that it may not be in Milton?
I think that's what I saw, because it's on the Neponset rail, so it's like part of it maybe. So it's a little loosey-goosey about it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what-
mostly a Randolph initiative.
Well, it is, but that doesn't mean that the project isn't Milton.
Well, there might be a couple of these signs in Milton, looking at what he shows, most of it's in Randolph. But he
So
showed
why
his
would we
plan.
fund stuff in
That's
Randolph?
a good question.
No,
That will still benefit Milton residents.
That's
who
true.
Use it.
Yeah.
That's true.
But there is technically no, this is maybe strange, but there is no restriction in the statutes.
that you could do any project wherever.
There's been some really, on the affordable housing side, there's been some, I don't know if they've gotten funded, but there's been some proposals for one town to build the affordable housing in
For
another
another
town.
one?
Yeah,
Okay.
or to share, which is very controversial.
That seems very controversial.
Yeah, regional collaboration is a better way to put it. So it actually technically could be funded, you know, whether we want to justify to Milton town meeting that we're funding something in
I think
Randolph.
we would be
Is
crucified.
Yeah.
We'd be crucified if we were using this money when we have so much demand in town.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I just think we should,
Well,
I
wait,
personally would tell.
okay, but I would push back on that because, I mean, I do a lot of biking around town, and I must say that the signage is pathetic. I mean, there is no signage for where you're going, where you're ending up, how far it is or anything, so any
Where are you
Signage.
talking about?
is good. Well, coming in, I mean, around the Blue Hills,
On the roads.
yeah, definitely on the
That's
road, there's
DCR
nothing.
land, yeah.
I mean, where they're, so I appreciate the fact that it's like, oh, that is a really good idea. That would benefit a lot of Milton residents. And I'm surprised actually that it says it's not a lot of money, really. So I don't know, I would vote for it to stay in.
I mean, two are on, I mean, he has the 5 locations, 2 are on the Milton Randolph, one's on the Milton Randolph border, one's on the Milton Boston border.
Yeah, on the north and the south side, right?
Right, and then, yeah, Concom sign, I assume he means the Milton Concom sign on the Ponce Trail at the Concom sign at Blue Hills Parkway, which is by the Ice House, I believe that's the one he's
Yeah,
referring to.
the map
And
here.
Concom site.
Does Randolph have the
property
same
on the
maps?
road. So I think they are Milton signs, I think.
Sounds like it,
Yeah,
Deposit trail needed.
I think,
have to go before the Sun Review Committee.
yes, absolutely. So I think it's eligible, whether or not we fund it is a different question, but I think it is eligible.
Yeah, I think it's all,
Because it's Milton signage.
are all these little,
I think that perhaps
Yes.
something we could
What's the,
communicate to
really
the applicant is the importance of
Proposed map.
stressing the benefit to
Where's
the
purple?
town of Milton.
And maybe he
In
should
your
find a Milton
applications.
partner,
Yes.
That's a great idea.
They should what?
find a Milton partner for this application.
Oh.
Yeah,
I mean, he's on
He's
the
a-
select board in Randolph.
Randolph, yeah.
yeah, find a local partner, that's a great idea.
So let me just back up again, though. So signage on a bike path, right? This is, so
Yeah.
capital improvements to recreation facility, right? As we know, we
Yeah.
funded dugouts and
right,
baseball and.
I think it's eligible.
You think it's
but
eligible?
I think it's
Sign-
eligible.
Signage is a capital improvement,
Yeah, Chancellor's
Yeah.
right here. She's the
It's-
one who.
Yeah,
yeah,
Good question.
I'm pretty sure it's eligible, the other question is that, like, he's a Randolph person, right, like, I mean, is there precedent of other people coming into another town and
Well,
getting
she
funding?
said the housing.
I just don't,
I think there's limited precedent on that, but we can, I mean, we could ask Stuart.
I think it's worth a call with him. To see. if
With the
that-
applicant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see if there's a Milton.
Okay, all right. I
So
can-
Tom, can I jump in here?
Yes, yeah.
Milton had a fairly active bicycle advisory committee. I don't know if it's still as active since Lee Toma left. but that would be a great partner to look into or to suggest. They were very involved in the pedestrian bicycle master plan that the select board adopted. And, this interconnectivity is something DCR is really interested in, getting people from one community to another community through other communities. So I do agree with Jenny that it's worth considering as being eligible. And I think what some of you have said about having a local partner makes a lot of sense too. So, hopefully the Bicycle Advisory Committee could be that partner.
Yeah. All right, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks,
I will
Sarah.
call the applicant and have a conversation.
Thank you, Tom.
All right.
This is great. This is great. This is why we do this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This is great.
So boat ramp replacement is the next one.
This is a continuation.
From last year to the thing.
It's a renewal, right, we rejected this last year, right? Ultimately, we didn't fund it.
We didn't.
We didn't fund it.
I mean, it was eligible, certainly. So it doesn't look like there's any further information from last year's application, really, right?
I know when I spoke up against this last year, having been involved in boat ramp design, I don't think it's feasible to put a boat ramp there. And so I think we're throwing money away. I don't know why the town feels that they can have a public boat launch there. They just can't.
Why?
And you think,
You gotta be able to manipulate a pickup truck with a trailer to back down that ramp, which there's really not room to do it. You possibly could, but most of the people going to a public launch aren't that good at drivers. And then you need a place to park your truck with your trailer while you're out using your boat, and there's no place down there to park anything. I just don't think it's really feasible to have a public boat launch there.
Wouldn't you think that Nick would know that?
When we asked him last year, and he hasn't done anything, I would have expected him to get the consultant at least to look at an aerial photograph and show us how the movements could work and where the trailers would park. But, and he hasn't done that, and we could ask him to demonstrate the feasibility. If we're gonna consider.
Well, I think that's what he's asking for, actually.
Well, he's looking for permitting and, requirements for permitting and all that kind of stuff.
well, it's studied, it continues to study.
Feasibility project, allow the town to plan for design and construction funding through the capital budget. So, would be a nice leverage too, if there's the town picked up, if it is feasible. But
Honestly, even if it was just boats that people could have on top of their cars, like kayaks on a roof rack. But what's the ramp that's there now is hostile.
that's a nice way of putting it.
I took one look at that, I'm like,
It's a historic feature.
it is
So,
historic,
do you-
yeah.
Would you wanna have a conversation with Nick?
Sure.
About this,
Sure.
just to follow, because I think,
So Tom, can I add some background to this one?
sure,
I haven't
Yeah.
spoken to Nick about this application, but the Master Plan Implementation Committee led a study with the Metropolitan Area Planning Council at the beginning of our committee's term. And we handed off a report to the select board. The idea that came out of the master plan was to increase public access to the landing and to the Milton's waterfront. And in that public process, it came out that boat dock or that launch, or whatever it's called officially, where you have that antiquated system, is extraordinarily limiting to who can go in and out there. And it does limit public access. So it was recommended at that time to study replacing that. And after that report was delivered to the select board, they appointed a landing committee, and that committee is still working. And so I would like to suggest a representative from that committee be contacted, or at least Nick report out to you, Pete, if you speak to him. What is the committee's current thinking and planning? I know that they've had some leases. They have I forget, Dexter School, I think, was one of the folks who was awarded a lease, as well as the Milton Yacht Club. And they took away the space where the yacht club was storing those cradles that are required for that current
Yeah.
boat ramp. Because the storage of cradles in a prime waterfront wasn't deemed to be, I guess, highest and best use there. But, you know, I've only followed this bits and pieces of it since it was handed off. But I know that it's ongoing work, and it would be useful to understand how this fits into the bigger picture there.
You should go down and take a look at what's down there now. There is a
Yeah.
huge Dexter Southfield pavilion, big Dexter Southfield on it, and, you know, dozens of boats, you know, there's no private, it's private, they privatized that area. It's not public, it's privatized.
Well, that's unfortunate. It's a public asset. So I haven't
But
seen that.
I'll talk to Nick and talk to him about what the committee's feeling is and just see if they have any thoughts.
Okay,
I mean,
thanks.
I'm not much of a boater, I'm not a boater at all, but I think, what Wendy said about it, even if we could make it more kayak launch friendly, that would be a worthy goal in mind. I mean, that's not. I don't
Well, there is a
think so.
kayak.
Oh, there is a
at the end,
lot
at the end of the parking lot.
Well, there and down at this ranch,
You gotta be.
and the kayak, and.
I put in there,
That's
and
bad.
it's not.
Well, the new dock system they put there, the huge big elaborate dock
Yeah.
system, that's very friendly for kayaks. Going down the ramp to the yacht club, old wood docks, I put in there.
Yeah.
Put in there, they've got, you know, over a dozen kayaks that people pay
Yeah.
to store there, so it's very actively used by
For
kayakers.
Yeah. Okay, all right, so you're gonna talk to
I'll
Nick.
talk to
and-
Nick
yeah,
and
yeah.
see if
Okay,
the committee,
great.
he said, yeah, good idea.
All right, next one is the Brook Walk, from Jeff Stone, dates.
He was supposed to be here tonight.
No, he'll be here next week.
Next week.
Okay, next week, yeah.
So I think that's eligible and,
Yeah, I was sort of confused between this and the Milton Greenway. So it seemed like there was sort of similar things going on.
Well, we had funded him to do a study, and they did a great job on the study. I don't
Well,
think he submitted a test, but
that's the Greenway.
VHB did a
no, we
study
funded the Brook
Oh, the
Walk.
Brook
of
Walk.
doing that whole thing. So I'm a little confused. This isn't implementation that he's looking for now, he's looking for further study. And I don't really understand how that fits in the bigger picture. So when he comes, we can.
Yeah, I think he's eligible, and I think,
Eligible.
yeah, we'll talk to him in 2 weeks. All right, the next one is the Clap Street Bocce Court.
So why this was not part of the town center court park, I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, so my understanding is, so as you know, we funded the basketball court at, I think it was $40,000 level. Nick has informed us that the bids were coming in much higher than that, so the 40,000 wasn't enough to get a new basketball court, so they have gone back to the drawing board. They're coming in. Independently of that, there's really like 3 moving parts here. COA has really latched on to the project in a good way and wants to have a bocce court. And then the neighborhood, there's a group of residents in the neighborhood that want to support, I think, both projects going forward. So I'm not sure. I've been away for 2 weeks, so I am not fully up to date on every word in all these proposals, so.
Well, the
I
town,
do think though, Julia, not Julia, Jenny, if you're on the track of saying we should encourage them to talk to each other and submit a joint application. I know there is some conversation going on.
But Nick's proposal did include the box.
It includes bocce.
oh, it does?
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Okay, oh, good, that's
So the
progress.
So we should just tell
Christine.
them, talk together and submit a single application for
For the final,
the final.
Right,
okay, I agree with that, so.
so who wants to do that?
I can, why don't I talk to,
Well, wait, you're talking.
yeah, you're taking.
You're talking to Nick anyway, right?
Yeah, I'll talk to Nick Connors about this one.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's Nick
Sorry,
Connors.
sorry, Nick Connors.
Yeah, that's fine.
do you want to talk to Christine Stanton too, or? Cause,
Sure.
I mean, we need to talk to both parties at some point.
Yeah.
Or I can talk to Christine and you.
No, let's not confuse it.
Okay,
I'll talk to
okay.
them.
All right,
And the neighborhood group that you spoke about,
I had some outreach to,
He went to the meeting and
yeah, so a variety, Mary Ann Zulus, there's I don't know what they call them, the center. There's a neighborhood group in that neighborhood, that has, yeah, Clap Streets, Fairbanks, those streets. They were very interested in seeing this project go forward, so they reached out to me, they invited me, I couldn't make the meeting, Pete went to it, they hosted a neighborhood meeting to basically brief people on this.
yeah, I got an invitation.
Oh,
I
okay,
was like, what's this? I was so excited, but unfortunately I wasn't able to attend the meeting, but I'm glad that you were.
you're a neighbor,
I'm a neighbor,
Right,
yes.
right, so, yeah, so I don't know, they don't necessarily have to be a formal applicant certainly, but they can be a supporting.
Yeah.
Each other, yeah.
Supporting, yeah, letter of support.
One application and,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah,
So is the neighborhood group already in communication though with the select board about it or with the COA about it or?
they have been,
They have
been in
been.
connection, they've talked to Nick Milano, I know.
Okay.
So very much, so I don't know.
I still, so I don't know too much.
Yeah.
Other than a lot of people have come to me about the basketball court that sat there vacant for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this still continues to be a thorn in my side because that's under control of the select board. And it may always be, but why, I don't know why it is. I mean, I guess because it's on this property. So. But I go back to the town, I go back to the master plan and I don't know why. That, to me, this seems like a big project and it's got a lot of planning involved in it. So I don't know why that wouldn't be included in the planning for that.
Well, it's partially I mean, the interesting status of this is it's partially funding, right? Funded, they've got $40,000 from us.
Yeah.
That's sitting there, that is not usable until they get full funding for the full idea, so. I mean, you're raising good points, but it also feels like a little bit of money can put them in a position where they could complete this project. We've already partially funded it, so that doesn't mean we have to,
Right.
yeah, have to do it, but it's just, we've expressed support by funding, and town meeting has expressed support by funding it partially at least. We thought we were funding it at the time,
Yeah.
but it didn't get done with that.
But to me, there's two projects here, right? It's the basketball court and the park
and the bocce court.
and the bocce court. There's three projects here, basically.
Well, it's not really the part.
I
It's
mean, I
one
think,
project,
but
because the bocce court is physically connected to the basketball court, I mean, as they got it, it's just doing that park. And it has those two facilities in it. So I think it's one project, it doesn't
I
make
mean,
sense.
the thing I like about it is it's got neighborhood sports, obviously the select board, coming from the two Nicks here, have been supportive of this, and COA is newly engaged in this project and wants to make sure it turns into a resource.
So I guess my one question is, so why, there's two applications
Right.
here, so
We're talking
can one just be?
That's what we're.
That's what we're already talking about.
We agree, I think that's,
That's
that,
done.
There's
Cheryl,
one
sure.
application.
that would be the goal, sure.
Sorry, I just had a question about the recreational master plan that Parks is going to be working on. Is that going to include the passive recreation that's not associated with organized sports teams like this park? It's under parks, but it's really not been something that has had any programming or management to date with parks. So this has been something that's been used by the neighbors in the neighborhood. So I'm just curious, like where Council on Aging is the applicant here, would the Council on Aging be one of the stakeholders in the master plan?
I thought this land was under select board control, not
Okay.
parks.
All right, then yeah, I think if given that, I don't think it needs to be tied to the master plan. So I guess I'm agreeing with those of you who were saying it's got the support of the town administrator and the Council on Aging, and it already has funding. So I agree with it is eligible for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely eligible. I think the goal would be to get COA and the town administrator's office to
In
submit
fact, Christine's thing at the end, the organization, said COA and select board.
Yeah.
So they, in theory, are working.
It's sort of weird that they had to.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Speaking of each
Like
other.
talking to each
But
other.
I think we can resolve that by
Yeah.
the final
Yeah.
application, so.
Did you say this from? This is
Okay, the Geofield baseball field, Rob, your name is on this one.
Do I need to remove them?
No, first, before you,
I mean, do we, I can tell you about the project if you want.
just quickly, yeah.
It's along the first base line. There's a pitching pen there today. And you went,
Third base.
that's the first baseline,
Oh, the baseball.
Geo. You're going down on the softball field.
Softball.
You're going on, it's Geo Field.
Oh, they
I've
moved it to
never heard of
first
it,
base?
I've never heard of the name.
So
That's what they renamed the
yeah,
softball.
so where the two dugouts are, on the first base side, there is a pitching pen, like it's fenced off.
Oh, okay, it's
Okay.
not the hitting cage.
No, the hitting cage is, so the baseball owns the two hitting cages.
Gotcha.
This is a pen which Milton softball is supposed to take care of. It's overgrown, there's pitching rubbers thrown out and everything else. So, and the baseball owns the two cages that are on the other side. And it's always been said, if baseball would always have rule over the cages, if softball came, we had second dibs or whatever to those cages. So this project is to try to make use of that space and use it for pitching, but also use it for hitting. And we would put up a net like we did in Cunningham. I don't know if anyone's seen in Cunningham, we put up a batting cage over there. Milton softball paid for it completely. And then the thinking is for this is Milton softball would put in a chunk. Parks and Rec would put in a chunk and the rest would come from CPC. And then Kevin had some people come out and look at it. The challenge to that is that as the grade comes down really hard and fast there.
Yeah.
So the water's coming down really hard. So we have to put in why it is the price it is because you have to put in a retaining wall with proper drainage around there, catch basin on the side to make sure that it's usable and get around there. And then one challenge to the project, which we've now known because we keep coming around it, that dugout's completely closed off. So if anyone ever comes in there, I think it was done for safety reasons. So like if other visiting members ever come in, you have to come in to the other third base dugout to get into that dugout.
So is it used during games as warm up?
It would be used during games for warm up, right? But it would also be used for hitting.
Hitting.
You could use both.
There was some mention of adult use. What was that?
There was a mention of adult use. Are you sure? I mean, it would be used for anyone in the community.
Believe so. I made a note of it. I was like, what are they talking about?
Well, there is adult leagues as well, right?
They use Geo?
Yeah.
Adult softball leagues that use the field?
Yeah,
No?
there's the old man's league.
Nice.
Who knew?
No, no.
Take note of that.
It's high quality software.
Is that what it's called? Old Man's Lake?
That's-
Really?
Yeah,
Do they take women?
Yeah.
well, actually, there is,
Little old lady.
the funny thing is, we were talking, this basketball court out here, there's a woman in town who's looking to get other women involved and play an outdoor women's league too. Because there just isn't that many, there really isn't that many adults, you know, other than tennis and golf and fishing, but.
Okay,
What
so
are-
I think this is an eligible.
Programs.
Yes, but that's the adult program.
Right on.
So I think this is an eligible use.
Places on a 12.
All right, Milton, just moving us along here,
Yeah,
because
that's right.
time is ticking away. Milton Greenway, applications, so. This is from town administrator. And this is connecting Quincy and East Milton.
This is that doesn't have a cost to it.
Right,
We don't know.
so we don't know.
But it
So this-
seems to me that it's assumed as part of the estuary project that they've been doing.
All the way to.
And all the, you know, brook path stuff that Jeff Stone has been doing.
Right,
So,
but this is
you
a
know-
much bigger project than the Jeff Stone project, because it.
Oh, yeah, no, it is, but
goes
I'm
from-
just thinking that there's three kind of linear path projects being proposed here, and it doesn't sound like they're taking to account the work that the other groups are doing.
Well, I don't think the Neponset one is, that's separate. I would put that in a different category.
Well, the
Because-
stoves along there.
Yeah,
along
this
that
one-
same
this
stretch
would
of
be
land.
inclusive of that, I think, because
Yeah,
it talks
it's
about
That's a
Quincy.
great way to connect Quincy and East Milton Square to Reedville.
Yeah,
To read?
How do you do that?
Does it show a map?
No. Oh, yes, it does, actually. So
But
it's
most
using
of
the
it's along
deposit
Brook Road,
greenway,
most of it
it
is-
shows it. It does show in that one, sorry.
Most of it is Brook Road in the street, or maybe
Right.
adjacent to it.
So again, for tonight's purposes, I don't wanna give it, I think it's eligible, we should have some conversations with
Yeah.
them about the other proposals that we got, because not, one applicant doesn't necessarily know we got other applicants, so, so I think it is eligible, we need a lot more information about this, including a price tag.
Right.
So this is clearly a placeholder that Nick put in. And
So,
that's it.
so hold on a sec. So Julie, maybe you can just make sure that Nick comes to one of our meetings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't do my homework either. I did not read these proposals in depth. But I'm curious, did they list any project partners with that?
It's a,
So,
it would be a study, basically.
A study?
I think they mentioned the bicycle, plan, the bicycle committee or whatever it is.
I don't think there were, yeah.
That's the schools that goes through, connects through public schools, Milton Academy, Curry College, Turner Park, Ponset River and Quincy into Reedville and commuter rail station.
I think it's building off some work MAPC that it has done.
Got it.
Identifying potential greenways through towns.
Cool.
So.
One of the little bit of concern,
Yeah.
one of the concerns I have a little bit, and this might not be the place where we talk about it. But we got lambasted by the select board and the warrant committee about studies. You know, and I
And
think-
now the town administrator is proposing another study.
Studies. So I, you know, I wanna concentrate on.
Yeah.
Putting some, you know, work in the ground.
Yeah.
Shovel.
So we should, you know, when we're paring down.
Yeah.
To get under our budget, I think we should give preference to those that are actually gonna build.
Yeah,
So-
and we,
Which we're close.
we showed that with over 90% of the funding has gone to actual projects, not
Yeah.
studies, but we should be aware and cognizant of that, absolutely.
And these submitting things, you know, with no price tag on it, you know, it's hard for us to know where that sits.
All right, so let's
Okay.
move on. It's eligible. We'll talk to them about coming to a future meeting. The Ponset Estuary Trail, Arthur Doyle's project.
Well, this is a good example of it had been a study and now it's into the shovel.
Right.
So that's great.
So I think that's eligible
Yeah.
as well. Beverly Playground, we just heard, Town Center Court Park, we just have previously dealt with. Tucker School Playground, we've dealt with, in Winter Valley, we've dealt with, so
As long as there's no turf.
as long as there's no turf.
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
Well, there
will be
might
here
be turf, but not that we'll pay for it.
What's
Yeah,
that?
that's true.
Arthur Doyle plans to
Is
be.
next meeting,
Yeah.
okay.
Wonderful.
Who
So
else
then
do you
there's
have
two
lined
more
up?
meetings that we're gonna,
How many do you have lined up for the next meeting?
Uh,
You said you've got Jeff Stone.
yeah, I got Jeff Down and.
There.
Sorry.
We really should try to have 5 people.
Yeah, I mean,
so. Well, I'm just wondering if we can. Pare some of these down, like, do we need everyone here? To
Oh,
come
the
before the committee?
Nick Connors and, the Tamposis and Arthur.
Okay,
So,
I don't know if we need Arthur Doyle for the Napontet Estuary Trail, that's pretty straightforward.
I know that Arthur had envisioned perhaps another site walk with our committee, with the consultant who is coming up with the proposed plans, so that we might be able to provide as a committee some feedback and guidance to what they actually put in the final proposal.
It's a big, it's a big ask, it's 275.
it's the 270,
And then the pump,
is it?
yeah,
It says TBD.
yeah, no, it's in there.
Wow.
So did that just come in?
So this is, yeah, maybe it's just, maybe just didn't put it on this sheet. It says TBD.
Yeah, it's not,
No, it's 275.
it's 275, yeah.
So that's why we're over the 2 mil or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah, I think we should have, I mean, I think we've done 3 tonight's.
So these
we-
12.
we've declared 1 ineligible. So we're now down to, and essentially we've done 4 tonight because we've just got a brief presentation from Rob.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So.
saying. I don't know, we're
down
not
to
gonna give you much.
9 applications, so I think we're in
What
good shape.
What I would suggest though, if have Kevin come to, do the Andrews Park. presentation or whatever with.
Yeah.
Well, and also the town center and the Clap Street would be.
That might be good to have them all at once, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely,
Yeah. Okay. So
that makes sense.
All right, let's try to go through quickly the rest of the agenda, and then we can release Cheryl and go back to the Tamposi, discussion. So, I don't know if these might be quick, but discussion of CPC public outreach, follow up with jackrabbits. I don't know.
Well, if it was left, Rob was gonna connect.
Yeah,
That hasn't been done yet, is it? Okay, that's fine.
well, there was some back and forth a little bit about like, what are we gonna do?
Do we really?
Like, do we really wanna do that after that email? So I think I don't know, I guess the question is back, do we want to do that?
Linda expressed.
Do we still
some
wanna
I
do
concern.
saw Linda's concern
Yeah.
about spending
Right.
money on
Can we
that.
just tamp it down a little bit?
Well, let's wait, let's defer that to a meeting that Linda's at, then we can have that discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instagram, there is a Milton CPC Instagram that I set up, it hasn't been extremely active, but you can go to Instagram, Milton_CPP, I believe it's called. And check that out.
I think I'm a follower.
Um,
I know I've
It's got one, it's got one
that app on my
follower, Jenny.
Well done.
Jenny.
Milton_CPA.
I've got that app on
So
my
I
phone,
use
but
some
don't
of
know.
the presentation that was made at town meeting, some of the graphics from that. I actually, the last post, I
92
got,
followers.
that got 6 likes.
Nice.
That's good.
Wow.
We have 92.
92 followers, yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. So actually, okay, this is working. So we need to get it, but that could be part of the conversation with Jackrabbit if we decide to do it, how to amplify that, but that's actually better than I thought.
I'm not sure, what's the difference between a follower and following?
We're following 115 different
Oh, you
entities.
did that?
Yeah. I
Oh,
did.
okay, you.
So that's one of the ways you get followers
Got it,
is
got it,
like
got it.
you follow them,
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
you know, they
Yeah,
follow
I
us, hopefully. But
Yeah.
that's good that we are up to 92, so,
Yeah.
Oh, 92.
so. we're off to a blazing start. So take a look at that. If people have any feedback, let me know and I can make changes. I can, if you have ideas for posts, please share them, but
So you're the
it could be something we proactively, as we get application or we evaluate it, but we could be posting like summaries of,
Mhm,
or, you know, a lot of times we get a map for the, you know,
mhm. Project update.
Pictures of
I think
projects.
that's more appropriate in the final eligibilities,
Mhm.
final application stage than this early stage, because we get more robust stuff to share. I'm a little concerned about that because does that imply, if we're posting it, does that imply a bias towards that project? So maybe we
Mhm.
should wait till after recommendations.
Yeah.
You know,
Personally, I think they should be like either projects that are in construction or done. I think
Oh,
that could
that's
Definitely
things
already
we've already
funded.
funded.
things we funded.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking too, even like the LED lights that were done at Upper Guile.
Yeah.
I just knew like a week ago, the bill that came back was only like $300, which typically it's a couple of thousands of bucks.
So anecdotes like
So
that.
anecdotes like that was great to say,
And
hey,
if
by
we
the
have a
way,
great picture of a night game.
Yeah.
At GOP,
Nice.
We
that
can
would be
post it.
great to post.
right?
Nice.
Yeah,
Do you wanna put the applications on the website?
so that is a good point, Julia, I think we do. I think,
Eligibility too?
yes, I think, that is one thing we heard from the warrant committee, or, and I thought that was a good point. I don't know if you remember that, but we did get pushed on that, and I think we didn't make a commitment to that, but I do think it's a good idea. This is public information. Once people submit an eligibility, I think we should be transparent about what we're getting. Julia, we can talk about, I don't know how
How
to
do
do
you
that.
share this? Or you just put it on you put it on our CPC website?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It would be in some sort of shared folder, and
do other towns do that?
I think some of them
Some
do,
of
yeah,
them.
Boston does, I think, yeah, so. I can check but I do think it's a good transparency thing and.
It's probably also helpful for other applicants that are like
For sure.
applying
Yeah.
to see, hey, maybe there's a.
Yep.
It's not that hard.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's not that,
Yeah, I was surprised at the limited amount of applications we had this time around.
I'm glad.
I do think, you know, to be fair, I do think this, having both, the way we have it set up. Is very beneficial because when they come before us, they may completely change their application to give them. It really does help.
Yep.
So,
okay, all right, so, the last thing, or no, sign committee updates.
so Pete emailed me, I've been so crazy busy with work as I sit here and do work. So, I just gotta, Pete, what I would suggest to you is pick a date and I'll pencil it in my schedule somewhere and we'll meet to go over it.
So it's you, me and Kathleen, I think
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
that's
so,
it.
yeah.
Whenever she's out sailing.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, I think we should continue to have a construction sign. And as far as I'm concerned, the one we've got is fine. So we could order some more of those. And, you know, require everybody who's doing construction to display our sign in a prominent place. So that's very easy. The
it's more
difficult
the
one
ones that
is
are.
a permanent.
Which is almost has to be a kind of case by case thing.
Do you think it's a case by case? Probably, right?
Really? There
Yeah,
can't be a generic?
or maybe we have.
No, because I think every
maybe we
project's
have what the
different.
wording is, you know, what the
Oh, yeah.
wording that we
Yes.
want on it. But exactly how they design it, and we might have a couple examples.
Do you
That's what we
think,
have to talk
I think
I mean, I
more
think-
importantly to Kathleen, like we're writing, like whatever their award is, right? that we get that in there, because there could be,
If
there
there
could be some, like for the forecast, I'm thinking, like all that work that's there and the money that we put for that. It's like, okay, then we should put something in there that says, hey, we want a plaque.
Right,
So,
be part of our grant.
yeah, and I,
Granted.
yeah, how specific we get, like when. The nonprofit I used to run, we built a building and we had a donor loan. So if we didn't get CPA money, but if we gotten CPA money, I don't think we would have done a separate plaque, but we would have put the CPA on the donor promise.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we have to be somewhat flexible. I think
Yeah.
Sports House would
Yeah.
probably do a donor or something in the
Yeah.
barn, right? And so it feels a little intrusive to say, we have to have a special plaque, especially if we're not.
Or we could say that we're gonna, there has to be a permanent recognition.
Yes, permanent
of the
recognition,
CPC,
yeah.
And, to be worked out with
Yes.
the committee.
I think that's right. I think that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
talk to Kathleen at the next meeting about,
So should we?
we're putting that in the grant agreement so that we have some leverage when we're.
So one question I have, so we're out of signs for the CPC, we're out.
Construction.
So what I'm wondering is, cause July 1st is coming up very
Should order
soon.
20.
Did you already order one? We should order.
I was just gonna ask about.
Yeah, I think we should,
Yeah,
I think
we should order one.
20, yeah.
Let's order
Yeah, how many?
20.
Let's order
20?
20.
Yeah.
I think the design is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Julia, thank you. You can handle that, ordering. Thank you.
There is a sign at Spalding Garden, by the way.
So
Is
good.
there?
Yes, there is.
I saw, I drove by, there was some event there
Yeah,
that they had,
I
right?
tell you,
Cause
George's in the
just
street.
happened to be driving by and there was a whole ton of cars, which you never see cars parked on that street.
Yeah.
So I said, that must be Spalding
It was the
Garden.
garden club doing that.
Was
What projects will get funded this
For 2
July?
years.
That are like,
right? Yeah.
It hasn't
Is there a
been
few?
graded yet.
Yeah, we'll start this.
that will start this.
They're ordering quality signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's gotta be some, right?
Okay, all right, so, maybe you don't need to meet, maybe we just talk, we put this, continue, Julia.
Can we put it on-
On the agenda, so
Next-
that when Kathleen, we
Kathleen
can have a
do it.
conversation with
Sounds
Kathleen about putting it in the grant agreement, so
Mhm.
putting some kind of
Something.
consistent language in the grant agreement, so that it forces a conversation between the applicant and us about signage.
I would also like to add to that conversation that we consider adding to our grant agreements a requirement for reporting. So that poor
Yeah.
Julia doesn't have to chase after these folks. And so that
Yeah.
we
does
get
anyway.
Yeah, sure.
But I
They
think it's
don't, they
really,
stick
really
on it.
important that we as a committee are
Yeah.
informed of the status of these projects, especially for these that go on for 3 years.
Can there be something where it's like, hey,
I thought
you know,
there
you
was.
report back or you'll lose your.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Exactly.
That's what it should be.
Well, that's.
Let's put Julia, for the next meeting, let's put an agenda item that's, a broader, conversation about, grant agreement requirements,
Mhm.
including signs and.
And reporting.
And reporting.
Yeah.
Some type of.
Right.
yeah.
And that too, that way we would have content for our social media person.
Right.
Right,
Right.
and, for anybody who is familiar with grants, that's very, very much, a routine thing.
Absolutely. Good suggestion. All right.
Well, now that he's on the board, yeah, most of the projects go through the Parks and Rec, so. Where's your update, Rob?
He just got elected. All right, so, update on CPC member term assignments. So I don't know if anybody else has an update on this. I know I have had a conversation with Ben Zoll, the new chair of the select board, just letting him know about our concern that the appointments last year were not done correctly. In that they were not intended to be all 1-year terms. So it's a little tricky, right? Because 6 of us are appointed by a board or commission, and so those I mean, I'm not exactly sure legally how that goes, but that we serve at the pleasure of our board, right? If the CPC voted tomorrow to replace me as the CPC representative, then I'm gone from this committee and a CPC representative replacement would, yeah, so. I'm not even sure that the select board overstepped its bounds by appointing me and appointing you and Rob, because it's really
Their
Concom.
mandate,
And, yeah.
it's up to their committees to.
The committees
Sure,
do
So it's
that.
really Pete and
It's
Pete's
just
seat,
the
Jenny's
three,
seat,
right?
and Kathleen's seat. that,
Mhm.
And those should be, in my opinion, rotated.
Rotated,
yeah.
One a 1 year term, 1 a 2 year term. So Ben was sensitive to that. I think we should probably just make a formal request that when the select board does the renominations for this coming year, that they keep the 1, 2, and 3 year thing in mind.
Did you get a renewal?
I got a renewal.
You are,
And it was a 3-year renewal or something. You had that list, I saw.
you got a renewal recently?
No, not this year, but the last time I was here.
No, I just got a renewal
You got one this year?
from Nick, yeah, so
For a year,
my
2
term,
years?
1 year?
3 years.
3 years.
Will be valid through June 30th, 2028.
And I think mine is 2026.
Oh, so they've listened
3
already.
years.
Yeah.
So that
So that's-
conversation.
I think mine's 2027.
Well done, sir.
Okay.
Have more power than I thought.
So I wonder, but we're also missing a member right now.
Yes. Housing
Right, so that
authority.
needs to get filled.
Yeah, I did talk to Matt about that, so I think they've had a meeting, but this wasn't on the agenda, so he's aware that it needs to get on the agenda. And,
They'll put the points in.
and, yeah, so that's, so I hopefully that will get done at the next housing authority board meeting.
So is I mean, so for the individual committees that we represent, for those of us that do. That's a 3-year term, right? Unless that person gets taken out.
Interesting way to put it. I don't know if there is a term for those, or is it like you said?
Originally, it was 3 years.
Was it? Okay.
Originally, that was 3 years. One citizen was 2 years and the other 2 were 1 years.
Right.
But as you know, like committee members change.
Can you add that to your Nick list?
Okay, and what?
Just to see what they're doing. I mean, that's encouraging that you got a 3-year
Right.
renewal, but,
I don't know if anybody else, so I just forwarded it to you, Julia, so you have it for your record. So you know my date of termination, or
And-
whatever it is, whatever you want to call it.
in termination, that's
Yeah.
another.
But it is interesting because the select board, right? When they, right after spring election, they go in and they reorganize their board, right? But so for the CPC, what happens?
We did that too.
We do?
We appointed you.
At the,
No, I know that, but I'm
But we
saying for
did-
individual members.
we've done
like
that at the
subcommittee.
beginning of the fiscal year. I don't know if we have to necessarily, that time we could do it.
Oh, we could overthrow you.
You can overthrow me anytime. Anytime.
Please do.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. I'll also talk to Stuart, just to see how other towns do it, too.
He might have a technical,
Yeah.
thing.
I think it makes more sense to keep in the 3 years because there's so much, like,
Oh,
you would be,
continuity is great.
yeah. You
Right,
could
but also
potentially
to-
have like a whole brand new committee.
And also to keep it staggered too, so that,
Yeah,
that's why I think they should be 3-year renewals for everybody.
But staggered.
But we need to get to a system where about a third of the board roughly every
Yeah.
year is coming up.
that makes sense.
And I think it's good for one of the public members every year to be up. right?
Yeah.
So that,
Yeah, for a 3-year term.
Yeah.
And just rotate it.
Yeah.
And the others, they're automatic, so I don't think the select board appoints you, it's your board that does.
Right.
And whether they let you go for the next 15 years, as long as you're
Yeah.
park commissioner, I mean, continuity is good.
Right. Right,
To a point.
to a point.
right,
Unless somebody gets stale, then we gotta.
Yeah,
all right, I will.
Take 'em out.
So he starts falling asleep at meetings.
I wonder if Kathleen-
Can't stay awake.
Kathleen, I think, might have gotten a reappointment, yeah, because I think it was on this like.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, she
Did
did?
she get 3 years?
Do you know how many years?
3 years, probably.
well, it
I haven't
Should
seen
be
it
2
through yet,
years.
but, I mean, I can look it up on. Computer.
And Pete, you think you're up
Through 27, I believe.
and you're through 28?
Mhm.
So maybe Kathleen's up
Next year.
next
Yeah,
year.
she should be up next year based
Yeah.
on that, but.
Yeah.
Whether,
Maybe she just got a new appointment. We'll see.
Should be, if any of you have, like, can access to the shared folder, it's all the terms are in there.
Oh,
oh, okay. Under. Under what folder?
Member information, probably. Term dates,
member information,
yeah,
member terms, as of the. Date
as
printed,
of last
as of December
last
18th,
August,
2023, this says,
yeah, well,
Yeah, that's old.
so this is old,
Got Ted Carroll on it. Got Ted Carroll
And
and Todd.
and Rich, however.
yeah, this is outdated.
Rich,
Okay.
Rich was on this.
We. For a brief time.
Wait,
Was he?
we're not looking at the same, I mean, Cheryl's on here, she's the newest member,
Original planning board representative.
so.
He might have been.
He was, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I see, so you have to scroll.
So you
down.
and, can update this. Yeah, I'll do this one.
okay, so we can check with Kathleen and see what she was reappointed for, if she was reappointed, okay. And I'll talk to Stuart, but I think we're making progress on this at least. All right, Cheryl, I think you can, sign off now, if you're still on.
I still am on, yes, Tom, and I will sign off now. Until next time, good night, folks.
Okay,
Good night,
thank you.
Cheryl.
24th, June 24th,
Got it. Okay, thanks.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so going just back to the Tamposi application, Pete, you were expressing a desire that we encourage them, or we instruct them to work with the Affordable Housing Trust for any,
Now, that worked for Winter Valley, but that year, the Affordable Housing Trust didn't get separate funding. All they got was this. And would the trust, if, if we were gonna give Tamposi money, or give trust money to work with Tamposi, would the trust be mad that they didn't get separate funding, but I think it would be great for them, they're the ones who have the expertise to negotiate, if they give us $300,000,
are we getting value? But
are we getting the right value? And do we want to get people that instead of at 80%, they're at 60% or 50%? We're not in a position to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think we set that precedent in Winter Valley. I don't know the answer to how, the full trust would evaluate this proposal.
Yeah,
But I think that's why we have an affordable housing trust
but if the money that we're gonna grant to Tamposi, if we do, if that replaces the 350 or whatever the housing trust wanted, that helps us with our, total budget too.
yes,
Right.
So you'll have to have a discussion with the trust.
Yeah.
And as well as.
yeah.
It's sort of two conversations.
I can talk to Julie. I will talk to Julie and then, and tell her that this is what we were thinking of. doing and get her initial reaction.
Yeah,
He's definitely, Julie is at least one member of the trust that's definitely experienced with this, through her professional, responsibilities. She has seen CPA money do this type of, either add extra units or
Yeah.
additional affordability, so she's very familiar with this type of negotiation,
yeah, talk to her about it, see what she said.
Well, I'm curious why Tamposi didn't go to them in the first place.
It probably just wasn't.
yeah, possibly, sure, not everybody knows about the trust, although, you know, housing developers should probably be aware that a town has a trust, and has some funding, but, you know, this was maybe, I don't, it's hard to evaluate without having talked to him.
I mean, that seems like a pretty, I mean, if they've asked for
But-
500,000, but it's pretty flexible.
So we're in agreement that that's the direction we should go, is trying to encourage, not encourage, we can either require, just like we did, we required Winter Valley and the trust to work together. We could do the
That's
same.
how best-
So do we have to vote?
It
Do we have to
does-
vote
it
on
does-
that? Like, what do we?
It doesn't imply that they're gonna get funding from the
Right.
trust, obviously,
Right,
but we asked them to work together on
Joint
a
proposal.
joint proposal. I suppose if the trust rejects, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here, if the trust says, we don't like this, we don't think that is a good use of our money, then
That's up to the trust.
that's up to the trust. But that means it's not gonna be a joint
Right.
application for the final round.
right, and then we have to decide whether we're in a position to work.
So Tamposi has an eligible
Yeah,
application, they could decide to still come to us
Mhm.
and we
sure.
can
evaluate it.
make a final decision in
Yep.
September.
I know personally, I go for greater affordability rather than more units.
Yes.
Because I think, I think that's the problem.
Well, the 40B units have pretty high,
80%.
80% median for
They're not-
renters is
Right.
high threshold, yeah.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, Rob, you had a question of, would we?
Adjourn. Is that your question?
No, it wasn't, that wasn't, yeah,
That
there was
wasn't your
some question about, Tamposi or the trust or,
No, I think we're good.
we're good.
I guess, in the future, because you're setting up like a precedent for this, Winter Valley already came. And I was questioning, like, should we just have something so we don't have to waste our time or another applicant's time to come before this committee, but it sounds like you don't want to set up that precedent regardless, because if they don't go in as a joint applicant with affordable housing, you want to leave the door open so that someone could still come.
I think our role at this stage is, right, we've defined it as, is it eligible or is it not eligible? It's definitely an eligible application. We can communicate to him, our strong preference is to fund all of the housing stuff through the trust.
Yeah,
And he can then pursue a conversation with the trust. If the trust rejects him for whatever reason, then I don't think we can tell him we can't submit a final application, but the chances of us, if we've already expressed our bias towards
Right.
funding through the trust, he should know that that's got an uphill battle at a minimum to get funding from us in September. So
I just don't know how, absent the trust, how the town would determine whether we're getting good value for whatever.
it's
money we're
important
given.
to, I think
Right,
that's
that's their expertise.
that is important.
that's their expertise and not ours.
And there's some
Right.
good people on the trust.
Yeah,
Like you.
There's some
Present company,
there's some okay people.
present company accepted.
Some of them are good people.
Some of them are good people, Tom, I know.
All right,
You
Yeah.
suggest that I reach out to Julie or to
No, I'm gonna-
Tamposi's or you'll do that?
I'm gonna do both.
Reach out.
I'm gonna first talk to Julie and then, based on that conversation, I will talk to Tim.
To your point, it's more about. It's more about buying affordability into it and not putting more units on.
Well, that would be my preference, but the trust knows a lot better.
Yeah,
What's best, but I would like to see some units, like what we funded at Winter Valley is allowing some of
To
those
buy
units,
more.
they're going down to like 30% or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
And I would rather see the funds going there.
And the
rather
40Bs
than
are
more
80%, to your point.
80% units,
It's a high threshold.
which isn't, in my mind, are the people that are in need.
Yeah, so, no, I think this will be a good thing for the trust to wrap their hands around and
Figure out.
And figure out.
And that kind of reinforces our precedent that we hold Winter Valley, that we want to handle the affordable housing through there. Now, you know, if Habitat for Humanity came in and then they had a 2-family home or something, we might fund them separately,
Right.
but it could go through the trust also, you know.
I think that could go through the trust too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is anything happening with the animal shelters with the affordable housing?
There's a lot happening, yeah.
There's a lot.
There was a meeting last night of the Town Planning Review Committee. And so probably by next Monday, we'll have a recommendation that's going back to the select board / Governor Stoughton trustees. Can
you give us a preview?
What exactly that recommendation is gonna say, I'm not sure of yet. We had a pretty good discussion last night, maybe we should adjourn the meeting.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
So,
I
and
just want to have one other question, just to make sure, Julie, did you, write everybody to make sure that they were acknowledged that we received their eligibility?
Yeah.
Proposal and stuff, so they know that they're in review right now.
Yeah.
Perfect, all right, thanks.
I would like to, I sent them an email saying that we were meeting and if they wanted to speak to their applications, they should come to the meeting. But another question I had was, they're gonna wanna know how to go forward. And we don't really have a plan for the funding aspect of going forward, you know, because people are.
Well, they all will get a letter saying your eligibility proposal has been approved.
Yeah,
And then we'll expect a full proposal by September 26th, whatever.
right. So, yeah, in that letter, it's kind of like you wanna tell people what to expect now that they've been.
Right.
Acknowledged.
So step 1, review process, step 2,
Right,
approved or not approved, perfect.
But remember, it's a 2-step process, so they come, this is one, they get some feedback, they're gonna come with whatever the funding, which will be a lot more robust. And then you'll give them feedback then too, and it's not a final.
yeah, I think what we've done is written pretty custom, I mean, they're a template, but we've customized some of those
Yeah.
letters based on the feedback that we've given
Right.
here, but we wait till the end of
Funding.
I think we wait to our July 14th.
Oh, yes, last one for all of them.
And just send
Yeah.
out all of the congratulations, you've been awarded, you've been not awarded,
Approved.
you've been approved. As at the eligibility stage, we invite a full proposal.
But we didn't make any, we haven't deemed any tonight ineligible,
Correct.
right?
Except for the poll test.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, okay.
for the date submitted now.
Technicality.
Technically.
Yeah. All right,
So.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah.
all, I guess we can dispense, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right. we're
Thank you,
adjourned.
you guys.